in the afternoon for Durban, where SADC would be actually hosting Southern African Development Community leaders. And Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, being one of them, was expected to attend the SADC Heads of State Summit. He leaves Zimbabwe whilst tensions surrounding Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 of 2026 are still alive and real. And Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is alive to that fact. And also, ZANU-PF factionalism is still the order of the day. And guess what? Mnangagwa is also equally alive to this act. That is why he had to leave behind Kembo Mohadi being the acting president. We'll be looking at what is the implication of this and also how Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa stands to benefit from this decision. As we speak at the moment, Mnangagwa arrived at Durban safely, so he's expected to attend the Head of State Summit and also hand over the chairmanship of the SADC to South Africa, that is to the President of South Africa. Remember, this chairmanship is given on rotational basis, not because of meritocracy. So Mnangagwa did not become a chairperson because he was voted. No, it was the opportunity of Zimbabwe to chair SADC. That is why he became the chairperson. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So retired General Chiwenga was not given the president's reins. Instead, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa opted to give to Kembo Mohadi. What is the meaning of this? Remember, last time Knox Chivero came through, was it Knox Chivero? He alerted Zimbabweans that Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa intended to hand over political reins or leadership to his wife, that is Auxilia Mnangagwa, and Kembo Mohadi would be allowed to act as the vice president since he was the last person to act as president. Remember, if Chiwenga act the last before Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa resigns, then Chiwenga becomes the acting president. During the period, ZANU-PF would be looking forward to vote for another president. So from the look of things, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa wants to keep retired General Chiwenga out of acting capacity, and this shows that the room of actually allowing his wife to take over the reins may still be alive, even though it was unearthed by the retired General Chiwenga faction through Knox Chivero. Of course, the timelines have passed because they were saying by the end of last month, was it last month? Last month ended and we did not see that happening, most probably because it was unearthed. We've seen some of the things. Remember, when we were beginning this year, we're saying the CIO director, that is Mangwanya, was going to be fired, and there was a plan to fire Ted. We saw the CEO, actually the director, being fired after some time, which means when Mnangagwa is exposed, he delays to act and most probably checking the temperature in the room. It's very important to check the temperature in the room. Now, the mere fact that in this picture you see Mnangagwa laughing with Chiwenga. I remember at one point, Kembo Mohadi was saying, called Chiwenga Your Excellency, and Chiwenga saying to Kembo Mohadi, no, I'm not yet the Excellency, which means I'm not yet the President, refuting that particular title. And most probably today, as they were smiling, it was surrounding who is acting. And from the look of things, Emmerson Mnangagwa seems to address this gentleman on who is going to act when he is leaving the country. I can attest to you, he left the country today. Tomorrow at night, he may be back to Zimbabwe. He seems not to be comfortable to leave behind the country and go outside the country for quite a number of days. He cannot definitely sleep in South Africa for more than just a day. It may be today, and the certificate of state summit would be actually held tomorrow, and later on during the day, definitely he may depart from Durban en route to Zimbabwe, because he cannot trust the political climate in Zimbabwe. From the look of things, the feud between Chiwenga and Emmerson Mnangagwa is still continuing. If you want to see this reality, look at how Themba Mliswa is still behaving in a similar manner he was behaving before constitutional amendment bill was transformed into a constitutional amendment act through crooked ways, of course, unconstitutionally. And although some say that this bill it won't be reversed. These are the people who are supporting Mnangagwa, who are part of the system. Anything in Zimbabwe can be reversed, and especially when it comes to issues of succession and who takes over the presidency. I have already said that it is not a ballpoint and a paper. It takes more than that. It is the deep state that determines this. There is no consensus within the deep state. There are some who feels Emmerson Mnangagwa, through Constitutional Amendment Act that he signed hastily, has betrayed the gains of the liberation struggle. I'm speaking about the retired military generals, as well as also the war veterans, who have made it clear to Emmerson Mnangagwa that you actually betrayed the gains of. They told him through his face before he actually signed the bill, and he told them, let the man who wins which was, so seems to be struggling with the network. I am back. So I was saying the tensions in ZANU-PF are still active, which clearly demonstrates that factional fights are still up and running in ZANU-PF. Chiwenga feud against Emmerson Mnangagwa is still on like never before, and the mistrust is growing between these two gentlemen. That is why Emmerson Mnangagwa, leaving for SADC, would actually be comfortable with Kembo Mohadi rather than leaving the reins to retired General Chiwenga, because he fears the West, that he may return not being a president. I can tell you that the plot to unseat Emmerson Mnangagwa is still alive in ZANU-PF. From the look of things, let's say I was to borrow the issue that was raised by Themba Mliswa, that Chiwenga is behind the demolition of people's property at St. Mary's. Now, that makes him very powerful. If some within ZANU-PF, they are not content about what he's doing, but he continues and do it, then it means he's powerful more than Emmerson Mnangagwa. He disregard the constitution. And also, I'm quite interested as to who ordered the soldiers to also take land in Mazowe, in a farm in Mazowe. The military was recorded usurping that land. Who ordered that? If then that's the case, where the military, as well as also a retired general, can undermine the constitution and send, then it's a banana republic. and it shows quite clearly that Emerson Mnangagwa is not in control. Chiwenga is in fact in control and more powerful than Emerson Mnangagwa. If that's the case, the governance of this country, then it's a joke. If that is how things are happening. So really between Chiwenga and Emerson Mnangagwa, it's not clear cut. Mnangagwa has not won by just putting his signature on Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 of 2026. And he understands it very, very well that he has not won anything. If you look, it's like ZANU-PF is still on the campaign mode. And campaigning about this constitutional amendment act number 3 of 2026. Still, they are still fighting. Tensions are still the order of the day. If it's a funeral at the National Heroes Acre, the parallel structures of Emerson Mnangagwa would be still speaking about Camp 3. They still have got placards written Camp 3 and saying a lot of nonsense about Camp 3. If it's a done deal, they should move from campaigning for that bill. The parallel structures singing and campaigning for Emerson Mnangagwa should be over. We should be seeing Zimbabweans moving in one direction, but it appears the feud is still alive. Mnangagwa, as much as he has the paper guaranteeing him stay to power up to 2030, but the real deal that has to guarantee him to be the president up to 2030 is still is not conclusive, especially when it comes to the institutions. That institution that matters the most in dealing with that particular manner. So it's quite clear. Kembo Mohadi being left to act, it means Mnangagwa is keeping his cards open, especially in terms of dealing with Chiwenga, whenever he decides to actually implement a succession plan, which keeps on taking numerous twists based on intelligence report that was released by Knox Chivero, I think the last time that he addressed the people of Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Okancobo Mhlabane is signing off. Do remember, I've released an album entitled Kuzodlula. Kindly watch and support that channel, that actually album. You can search it, Hlonipani Ncube, and the album is Kuzodlula. Thank you very much for those who have already the support. I'm highly